football players in the preseason that we sit in as we head into the first weekend of the 2024 preseason. We all do go around and pick one thing that we're keeping an eye on. Peter, I tee you up first in New York.
Yeah, I'm going to tomorrow at a rare noon start on the East Coast. The Jets are playing the Commanders. They did a joint practice in a monsoon yesterday. They're taking today off, and tomorrow they're going to play. And I'm looking at the quarterback for the Washington Commanders, rookie Jayden Daniels. All the breath that we've spent talking about Caleb Williams as the first overall pick, Jayden Daniels might have a better year as number 2 overall pick, and he's playing this weekend. He's going to play tomorrow. It's funny, I look on X, or I read some of the stuff that was reported yesterday from the joint practice, and it's like, the Jets shut him down. The Jets had him on lockdown. It was a practice, folks. It was a practice. You know, Aaron Rodgers didn't even practice yesterday. Jayden Daniels is out there going up against the ones, and maybe Sauce Gardner had a day or two, or someone else had a knockdown, but like, I cannot wait to see him in actual action. Everything I hear from Washington, and I know you're saying, oh, it's rookies, it's preseason, like, this comes from the coaching staff, this comes from the front office, and this comes from players. This guy has blown away expectations as far as rookie quarterbacks go. He loves the game. He's the first one in the building. Cliche alert, whatever you want to say. First one in the building. And he has taken to Marcus Mariota like a sponge, learning everything. So to finally see Jayden Daniels, the Heisman Trophy winner from last year, after we've spent the entire summer and the entire offseason talking about Caleb Williams, let's see Jayden. We don't talk as much about him. I can't wait to see him tomorrow noon facing off against the Jets right here in this New Jersey, New York market.
Yeah, Peter, the game that I'm looking at has to be the Raiders against the Vikings and the quarterback competition between Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew. I was over at the Raiders, practice last week, and I had a chance to kind of just look at the way they were taking the reps. They were divvying up the reps pretty evenly. And, I think about what Aiden O'Connell had to overcome. Aiden O'Connell had to overcome coaching changes, and, that can be very disruptive to a young quarterback. But, Gardner Minshew, we already kind of know what his record is. We know what he's done and produced. He is a veteran quarterback. He has that advantage over Aiden O'Connell. But the fact that AP has these two guys competing, it's going to be interesting to see what this turns out to be, because that's the one thing I think that the quarterback definitely, that the Raiders need to definitely address is this quarterback issue. AP is in no rush to make a decision. He wants these guys to compete. And I love that element, because when you get these quarterbacks competing against each other, they don't feel comfortable. I think you're going to see them put out their best foot forward. That's a cliche. They're going to go out there and try to really kind of make this thing happen. So it's going to see that. And then on the other side is Sam Darnold and McCarthy. You get kind of the same situation here. You have a veteran quarterback who hasn't probably made big noise in the league. I mean, Sam Darnold is Sam Darnold. We know kind of what to expect out of Sam Darnold. He's been consistently the same with the Jets, with the Carolina Panthers, with the 49ers. We know who he is. McCarthy is interesting, coming off of a big win in the Natty. It's interesting to see how Kevin O'Connell will take care of this young quarterback. Do you let him grow? Do you kind of just ease him into the system, give him a lot of reps during the preseason, hold him back? This is what I'm looking for.
It's crazy to consider the rookie quarterbacks, specifically the ones taken in the first round. There is such a range of experience. You have J.J. McCarthy coming off of an offense with Michigan where they ran the ball a ton. We didn't see him air it out a lot. Yeah, he won every game. Then you have Bo Nix, who played 100 college football games. And then it's just wild to me how the application of experience varies so much in this first season. I know, Isaiah, you go quarterback as well in this conversation.
I'm definitely going quarterback. I'm going to go to the Dallas Cowboys versus the L.A. Rams. And in particular, I'm keeping my eyes peeled on Trey Lance. Trey Lance is going into his 4th year after having been the number 3 pick in the 2021 draft. This dude was outed by Brock Purdy down there in San Francisco. They moved on from the Trey Lance project, and now he finds himself in Dallas without them picking up his 5th year. They did not pick up his contract. There are no quarterbacks that are on contract beyond this year in the Dallas Cowboys. Cooper Rush is the number 2 man and has been the number 2 man who is tried and true for the Dallas Cowboys. But Trey Lance has the opportunity to prove to this whole entire organization that he is not only the number 2 on this team, but why should you pay Dak $60 million when you can get me for the discount double check? This opportunity that he has, he's going to get plenty of reps this preseason. We can see what he can do.
That is, okay, because the Trey Lance experience has been, I mean, Peter, that is all we talked about last offseason in terms of the 49ers. And what are they going to do? And what's this dynamic like? And for Isaiah to address Trey Lance and the dynamic that the Cowboys have in their quarterback room, I mean, that is a fascinating situation to watch unfold because you have to look at the future. It's not that it's Cooper Rush, but financially, how does Trey Lance fit into all this?
I would ask Isaiah as well, as someone who was at the practice yesterday. You know, you have a joint practice, two teams that went to the playoffs, two teams that have Super Bowl expectations. And yet everything I heard was like it was a good, crisp practice, no injuries, no fights, no dust-ups. Did Trey Lance light it up at all? Like, did you see anything from Trey Lance? Because we know that you're going to get a lot of the number 2s and number 3s this weekend.
Yeah, the one thing that I've seen from Trey Lance in training camp so far is that he's throwing a good deep ball. Outside of that, he still seems like he's playing with a question mark. You know, like he's playing with a lack of confidence. And I'm not sure if that's just stemming from the fact that he's still getting acquainted with the Dallas Cowboys or he just doesn't have enough reps in the games. But these games are going to be so instrumental to his development and to himself. And we all know as players in this league, it just takes confidence. It doesn't matter that you're a professional athlete. If you're lacking confidence, you can't put out the product that you're accustomed to putting forth. So if he gets out there and is able to generate some confidence, we might see an entirely different version of Trey Lance. And he might be the player that he once was in college.
Confidence is so key, man. That's so big. It's underrated.
Let me just put a bow on the quarterback carousel conversation we're having here before I want to hear about your answer because it is a unique one. But I look at that Steelers game that's coming up this week and the fact that Russell Wilson's not going to play, Justin Fields is going to start, Arthur Smith being the new OC that Mike Tomlin brought in. That's a lot of changes offensively. And the Steelers, they have to change something compared to what's been happening to them the last couple of years. The Steelers defense, it is what it is. It's fantastic. You're anchored by TJ Watt. We know what to expect there. But they need to hang offensively within this division. They have to be able to put points on the board. There was some insane trend, and it was a bad trend that they were on last season. It was like they went 5 or 6 weeks straight without scoring more than 14 points. It was not good. They have to turn this around. And Arthur Smith has admitted that Justin Fields looks great. He's dangerous with the ball in his hand. Do you see an option with Arthur Smith where he's maybe leaning on Justin Fields to create plays within the playbook if you're not just going to have Russell Wilson be your number one quarterback? I'm interested to see how this unfolds now that we're off the quarterback conversation because it feels like we listed every single one in the league so far. Dante, who do you have?
Definitely not a quarterback. I'm going to go with Rees-Zammit,
Okay.
a rugby player.
Oh, talk about it,
Yeah,
Dante.
man.
Yeah.
So I have a really, really close friend from Australia. I actually have been to a rugby game before. Wow. And it was amazing. Basically, NFL football without the equipment, right? So I'm interested not only to see the transformation and the transition from that game to our game, but also he landed in the perfect position with Andy Reid and the Chiefs organization. How are they going to use him? Because in my opinion, the Chiefs don't take a person whether or not, just to have them on the roster. They take a person to utilize them. So it's going to be, and look at this guy. He has this crazy skill set. Look at that move. Look like a white Dante Hall right there. So, I mean, this guy, I guarantee you Andy Reid will find a way to utilize this kid. So.
Oh, wow. And that's the thing, too, about Andy Reid. He's always finds these players, the personnel that are so dynamic. I think about, of course, obviously not the Chiefs had you, but I think of the Black Mamba out of Oregon,
yes.
DeAnthony Thomas, and just finding these players who are so versatile that you can utilize them in multiple positions, because that's the key, because it really destroys the defense. Like, we don't know how to adjust to this personnel grouping, so it's going to be interesting to see how he utilizes.
I mean, just look at the history. They've taken so many dynamic players in the lower rounds or undrafted. Isaiah Pacheco, Tyreek Hill, like you just mentioned, DeAnthony Thomas. They always take guys that are, lower in the draft or undrafted, and they turn out to be stars. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if this guy is the next one.
Okay.
So